selling snacks.
What's going on, everybody? Your boy Sin here, Anime USA 2022, and I have the pleasure of sitting here with Chris Patton, who I'm pretty sure you have heard his voice somewhere at some point in your life. How are you doing, sir?
Good, how are you?
I'm okay. It's been a long day too here, but you know, having a good time. How about yourself?
Yeah, for sure. I actually got here on Wednesday.
Okay.
Because Thursday, some friends that live here took me out to Busch Gardens.
Oh.
And I rode some massive roller coasters.
What was your favorite one there?
Oh, it's the new one for this year. It's called Pantheon.
Okay.
It is a beast. It is wonderful. I felt like I was being hurtled off into space.
Okay.
Fantastic.
I understand you're a roller coaster enthusiast. What would you rate that one?
Oh, it's my new favorite.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I actually, not to make anyone angry from the Ohio area, I put it above Steel Vengeance at Cedar Point.
Wow.
Which was, up until I rode Pantheon, was my favorite. So.
And that was my next question. What is your favorite? But now that I know.
Pantheon. Title was most recently held by Steel Vengeance at Cedar Point. Yes.
Okay, it's been a while since I've done the roller coaster thing. I do want to get back into it. The last time I was riding them years ago, I think Kingda Ka had came out.
Kingda Ka.
It was my favorite at that time. Where would you put that one?
It's on my list. I haven't ridden it. I've ridden its sister at Cedar Point, which is Top Thrill Dragster.
Okay.
Slightly smaller version of Kingda Ka. So I do need to make my way to New Jersey to Six Flags, whichever that Six Flags is.
Yes.
Great Adventure.
Yes.
So that I can ride Kingda Ka. It's on my list. It's on my list.
Okay, but I now have two on the list that I need to apparently get my composure for and go check those out, and I'm looking forward to it.
They are worth riding. Yes.
All right, so let's get into you yourself, sir.
Okay.
All right. You have a very impressive resume. I believe you've done over 250 titles. You do Sosuke from Full Metal Panic. I know that's a popular one.
Yeah.
Greed from Full Metal Alchemist, another popular one. Eiji from Sword Art Online, or No Scale, which is one of my favorite animes. Awesome. With you being a veteran in this for so long, I want to know some of your insight as to how voice acting in anime has evolved over the years, and do you see another evolution of it on the horizon?
Yeah, I've definitely seen. It's weird. It's weird to realize that you've been on the planet a certain number of years.
Yes.
And then like when you're giving a panel and someone says, "How long have you been doing this?" You're like, "I've been doing this 23 years." That's a long time to be doing something. Thank you. But it's weird. It doesn't feel like that long, but it certainly has been. And I would say two things come to mind about having been in the game that long. One is that because I've been in this for over 2 decades, I have 2 or even 3 maybe totally different camps of fans. I've got like the older millennials and younger Gen Xers like myself. I'm like mid-Gen X, but like the younger Gen Xers and the millennials who know me for Full Metal Panic. And they know maybe even like Princess Tutu, and they know Full Metal Alchemist, and they know shows like that. Even things like Guyver, and anyway, yeah. But then you've got like the people in the middle, and most of them know like ghost stories. And, well, everyone kind of knows the ghost stories dub in some way, shape, or form. But then you got the Gen Z kids, and they're all into Haikyuu, and they're into like in the newer stuff I'm in, basically. So I kind of almost straddle 3 parts of 3 generations of fandom, which is crazy. But it's an honor, and it's really cool. But as far as the evolution goes, I will tell you, the biggest change I've seen has been when we used to go really slow because everything was done for physical media. Everything was done for DVD or Blu-ray. And you could take your like, when we did Full Metal Panic, it took like a year to make that thing. Wow. Now, you can, well, the evolution I've seen is everything has gone from DVD to Blu-ray to streaming.
Yes.
And now simuldubbing. And with streaming and simuldubbing, you have got to be lickety-split. Like everything is fast.
Yeah.
Everything is insane turnaround time. Cool, you recast. Can you record tomorrow? If you can't record tomorrow, we can't use you. We're gonna recast you. Boom. You gotta be ready to go. And you gotta hit the ground running. There used to be time, like if someone was more of a noob, right? They might cast them in an A-list title because you could massage their work a little bit. You can kind of ease them into the process of what it's like to dub. Maybe they're a great actor, but they've never dealt with dubbing anime before. You gotta kind of introduce, gotta coddle them a little bit. Now, No, you better get in that booth and know exactly what you're doing. You better hit those lip flaps. You better know your character. You better have your acting chops in order, just ready to go. It's the speed with which everything is done now that I'm amazed by. And as far as the next evolution goes, who knows, man. Things have been. I never thought I'd see some of the things I've seen just in the relatively short time, comparatively, that I've been doing voiceover work. I can't believe the way things have changed. It's so wild.
It's crazy hearing you say that, and it makes sense when I think about it with simul dubbing now and streaming. Like, you have to, as a voice actor, you have to go in there, know the character, get into that headspace, memorize the lines, all that type of stuff in such a quick turnaround time to be able to pull it off and make it, acceptable and
believable.
Yes. That is kudos to all of you who were able to pull that off.
It's wild.
So I know that was probably an adjusting turnaround, maybe a little bit for you, like going from one to the other, as opposed to somebody starting now and that's all they know.
Yeah. You know what? It's so funny, and I'm not proud of this, but like when I first started in '99, when I first, for the first 2 years I was dubbing anime, we had paper scripts. We called it, when you work on a big show, we called it killing trees. Because like you would get in the booth, there'd just be a stack of papers, like, and thank goodness that went away. But like now, of course, then everything went to screens, and now everything is just scroll. Like it's just you got a screen here and a screen here, and you got the engineer and the director, and you just go, and it's wild. And it's not that they don't take time. It's not that they don't care. It's not that we don't take time to craft something, but you just get people who are really good, who are fast at what they do. It's crazy.
Yeah, all right, so not only do you do anime, I see you do video games as well, and you do audiobooks.
Yeah.
You like to talk.
Right? Apparently.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I want to know a little bit about your journey as far as where did you start, and did the other two find you, or did you find them?
I started literally so I started at age 9 acting on stage. We're talking like opera, musical theater, non-musical theater. Like I was obsessed with the stage, and I wanted to be on Broadway, and but like in my 20s something weird happened. A fellow actor in Houston said, "You need to go audition for this company in town. They're called ADV Films." I'm like, "What is that?" They're like, "Oh, it's this little hole-in-the-wall place." And I'm like, "What?" They're like, yeah. Watch out for a cattle call from them. There was this like punk rock newspaper in Houston called the Public News. On the back page said, "Local company that makes that dubs Japanese cartoons into English seeks actors." I'm like, that must be that thing I've heard about. I go and audition for this place called ADV Films before they became like ADV Films. And I went in and auditioned, and they're like, "You're pretty good at this. We're gonna start calling you in." I'm like, "Sure you are." They did. They called me in, and the first thing I ever worked on was Master of Moskiton the Vampire. I had 3 lines, and I died.
Okay.
And I was like, "Oh, this is fun." And they're like, "You're really good at this," and they started calling me in for bigger and bigger roles. My agent found out about it. She's like, voiceover isn't relegated to what you're doing over there for ADV. And then I was like, I started doing commercials, and I'm like, wow, this is crazy. I'm obsessed with reading, and I'm obsessed with books, and I knew that audiobooks were a thing. I'm like, I want to get into that. Okay. So I created an audiobook demo, and I just started submitting it to big publishing houses, and they're like, "We want to use you for our audiobooks." A couple of years later, I've got 130 audiobooks under my name with with awards and everything, and I'm like, this is crazy. But I'm like, I have not tapped video games. Okay. And my friends are like, well, you might have to move to Los Angeles. And I started submitting to casting houses in LA, and I started flying out to LA to do video games. And then 2018, I moved out to LA, and now it's 2022, and I can't wait to move back to Texas. Because everything I can do in LA, I can now do in Texas. And especially as a kid and as a teenager, I loved Los Angeles. I loved visiting. It was great. It was cool to live there for a couple of years, but I miss Houston. And I'm just kind of done with LA.
And what did we learn from the pandemic is a lot of stuff you can do from home now. Technology's come a long way.
Yep.
Yes.
We sure did learn that.
So out of those 3, which one would you say is the most challenging?
This is how I describe it. Dubbing anime is the most technically challenging.
Okay.
Video games require a heck of a lot of stamina, but they're the most fun.
Okay.
And they pay really well.
Good to know.
Audiobooks are like, I call them the triathlon of voiceover. It is so much work. It's performing an entire book, just you. Well, sometimes they do multi people cast, but usually it's just you. As an example, I did this one vampire trilogy. Each book was 700 to 900 pages. It was 3 books, and I narrated all 3 of them in the space of a month.
Wow.
It was just, my brain felt like jelly. My voice barely, I had to do like 37 dialects. I had to speak in foreign languages part of the time because the vampire would start speaking in German out of nowhere. Tons of research, it's crazy. But anime is the reason I say anime is the most technically difficult is because you have to be a good actor. You're watching the director and the engineer. You're also watching the lip flaps. And then in your ears, in the cans, you've got the Japanese voices that you're often playing off of if you haven't had enough of your fellow English voice actors lay down their tracks yet. So you're hearing Japanese, you're watching lip flaps, you're watching the director and the engineer, and you're thinking of the character and the story, and you're trying to make sure that you've come up with the voice that stays intact while you're making the lip flaps match with what you're saying. It's just a lot to think about at once.
No, that sounds very difficult.
It is. Yeah, well, the first few times you do it, it can be very overwhelming.
Yes.
It's just like, what is all this input? But now it's so funny to me. It's just like breathing.
It's nothing now.
Yeah.
Just rehearsing, practicing over and over.
Yeah, it's muscle memory.
Yeah. Well, I never thought about that. Like having the stuff in your ear, you're watching for the cues, you're trying to match it, you're trying to keep the same energy of that character. That is a lot to take in.
It is. Yeah.
What is a piece of advice you would give to somebody who wants to get into voice acting?
I would say make sure that you love acting first.
Okay.
Before that you're in love with the idea of like, I get to do crazy voices, or I can do impressions, or I get to go to work in my pajamas. Those are sort of 3 myths of the industry. First of all, very rarely do you do crazy voices. Most of the time you're doing voices that are sort of around your own vocal range. It's more about, can you take words that are on a piece of paper and make them live interestingly in a 3-dimensional space? Can you use your voice to create a believable character? Sometimes you do get to do crazy voices, and it's a lot of fun. Impressions, almost useless. The best thing you can do with a good impression is alter it a little bit to learn how to make a new voice out of it.
Okay.
I forget which voice, Hank Azaria of The Simpsons, the way he came up with a lot of his voices for The Simpsons is by doing terrible impressions of other people. Mo, the bartender, is based on his terrible impression of, I believe, De Niro. It's like a bad, awful impression of De Niro that he turned into Mo, the bartender. So that's a way an impression can be very helpful. The whole coming to work in your pajamas thing, such a myth, because honestly, one of the ways you keep getting rebooked is by showing up looking like you want to do the job. And if you show up to a studio, like in your PJs and loafers, and you're like, got a cup of coffee, hey, let's record some anime, people will never hire you again.
Yeah, you still got to be professional.
You got to show up like you want to work. But if you really find that you love acting and you love the thought of using your voice to tell a story, I just say pursue the hell out of it. And don't let anything get in your way. And you're going to have doubts about yourself. You're going to have imposter syndrome. You're going to have anxiety. You're going to worry about what this, that, or the other person thinks about you. And you have to just keep bulldozing through.
Hey, I can't agree with you anymore. You have, like I said in the beginning, you have a lot of stuff under your belt. Yeah. Is there a franchise out there that you would like to be a part of that you haven't gotten to be a part of yet?
Yes.
What is it?
I might really want to be a secondary character in Chainsaw Man.
Okay.
I just might. I might really want that. I know we've announced the 4 main characters. I am not one of those. Congrats to those 4. One of them I actually know very well, and she's a lovely human being, and I'm so happy for her. But I might want to be in that show.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's one that's very much in my cerebellum at the moment.
So let's get that hashtag together. Let's get a hashtag together. Let's see if we can get them a Chainsaw Man.
Also, though, I'm always down for anything that's slice of life. I love slice of life. I love slice of life, and I love vampire stuff.
Okay.
Those are all things that recently I got to do a slice of life show called Sasuke Miyano. I was just sort of a tertiary character, but it was just this very wholesome little slice of life show. And I've gotten to play a vampire. Cool. So we've manifested that. Now we need to manifest some Chainsaw Man.
Okay.
Or something along those lines. I don't know.
Okay. What is your favorite anime of all time?
My favorite anime of all time is Cowboy Bebop.
Oh, okay. Another
Classic.
favorite.
It's a classic. Kind of an easy answer, but it's so good.
It is.
It's so, and I think it set the gold standard for what dubbing was going to become. You know, and that was right before I got in the business. You had like Steve Bloom, and you had Wendy Lee, and you had was it Bo? Oh my God, that triumvirate right there, that cast, man. And then the artwork, the music, the soundtrack. That was one of the first anime I just sat down and watched, and I'm like, oh, this is not the Speed Racer I watched when I was 5 years old. Wow. Like this isn't, like I saw how incredible anime could be.
I tell people I didn't feel that way when I first saw it. And I think it was so many people were just building
it was hype, right?
Yeah. And I sat down and watched it. It was like, I don't get it. And then like a year later, you know, having a cold or flu, and I sat down to watch it. And I was like, oh, I get it now.
Yeah.
This is, what was I watching last time? What was I looking for? This is great.
Yeah, it's a great show.
It is. It really is.
Set the standard, man.
All right, so my final question, we're loading snacks. A loading snack is a snack you can eat while you're gaming that won't ruin your controller. What would you say is one of your favorite loading snacks? Whether you're gaming or you're binging your favorite anime, one of your favorites.
My favorite snacks?
Sure, yes.
I mean, a lot of my favorite snacks are messy. So I don't know if they qualify.
They might not qualify, but still.
But okay, you know what? In fact, this is on my mind because I had it today. I was calorie starved after Busch Gardens.
Okay.
This is my favorite, and it's kind. You can call it a meal. It's really a snack. I love a good. I get a grilled cheese with avocado on it.
Okay.
And it was amazing. But that's a little bit of health. Let's say that's too healthy. Let's just say a snack. My favorite snack in the world is chili cheese Fritos.
Not mad at that. I think that's a lot of people's high on their chip meter.
Yeah, I'm a little disgusted with myself for saying it.
It's okay. It's okay.
It's good. And you know what? Since we're at an anime con, I gotta tell you, I don't always have this on hand, but when I do have, in fact, I might pick some up before I leave here. Okay. Have you ever had the green tea Pocky?
No, but every time I walk past them, I kind of interested to try them.
Green tea Pocky. I know everyone goes for the strawberry, because like, it's strawberry, and it's pink, and you think it's great. Green tea Pocky, man.
That's the one.
Yes.
Okay, he has co-signed it. I'm picking up a box. I might join you picking up a box if I leave here.
And it's not messy, so...
That is definitely, yes. That is definitely a low snack. Thank you very much for taking the time to speak with us. It has been an absolute pleasure.
Same.
You guys know what it is. We have to wrap things up. It's day 2, so we will catch you all on the other side. Talk to you later. What's going on, everybody? Did you enjoy what you saw? Of course you did. So if you want to help us out and support us, here's what you can do. On whatever platform you're currently streaming us on, just like, share, and subscribe. Then head over to patreon.com/loading snacks and become one of our patrons there.